Oh, we about to get nerdy. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Helluva Shorts number 3, Mission Weaboo-boo. Um, so this is interesting. We're gonna get nerdy here. A weeaboo is like an anime manga fan who's a little too overzealous with things, basically. Some people like to use the term endearingly and see it as almost like a badge of honor, or some people use it kind of ironically for the shits and giggles. But the term is typically meant to be an insult. It's not usually a good thing to be seen as a weeaboo. Like it's basically that major step up from just being a normal fan. The typical like view on weeaboos is that you're again way too overzealous. You almost kind of role play characters and stuff. Like if you're cosplaying, you treat the voice actors and whatnot as if they're the actual characters, and it can get very toxic very quickly. Um, Not to say that every single person who would be considered a weeaboo is like toxic in that kind of way or anything. It can manifest in different manners, but it's it's again a term that can be used nicer and more or for just more ironic funny reasons than to actually be used as an insult. But knowing this series, it's probably being used in the extremist kind of way. So the interesting thing is the cast of Hell of Lost and Has Been Hotel by extension um, are very prominent at conventions. They do a lot of convention stuff, and I'm wondering if this is going to somehow like be almost a parody of that, of like stuff that they've experienced at conventions, because I could just see this taking place at a convention with a title like this. I obviously know nothing about the content of this short, but I could see that. And I'm just very curious to see how far they go with it and exactly what they do. Knowing Hell of a Boss, knowing Spindlehorse and everything, it's probably going to be like um jokingly mocking anime fans and stuff. Um and again, I'm just curious to see what they do with it. Especially since it is a short. Um it has potential, but the problem with these shorts, and I'll get more of this in the afterthoughts, is the length of them. You don't have enough time to really build up the jokes, and I feel like that was an issue with the last short. But like I said, I'll talk more about that in the afterthoughts. I think we should just get into this and see what Mission Weaboo-boo has in store for us. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but I upload them on the weekend. And don't forget all the gaming content we have both on this channel and the secondary Princess of Gaming channel. We have Horizon Forbidden West every other day and Baldur's Gate 3 every single day on this channel, while we also have Nier Automata every Saturday on the other. And don't forget to click the link down in the description below to get to today's reaction. I redirected just due to copyright reasons. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on to the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, Emberlyn, I think her name was, her voice actress, Monica Franco, has been in Helluva Boss prior. She was the saggy hellhound lady at the pound, I guess you could call it. The one who was showing Blitz around in the flashback in the second episode of season 2. She was also Counselor Jimmy in Unhappy Campers, and did additional voices in the Full Moon episode. But above that, she was the original pilot voice of Vaggie. Alright. Very different role. I mean, all of these are technically very different roles. But this short is better than the last one, but a little one note, I feel. Like, the joke, to anyone who's, like, an anime fan at all, or, you know, fan of, like, games and whatnot, it's like, you get the joke. But that's all this episode is. It's a single joke, and it gets really annoying after a while. And I know that's the point. I understand it's supposed to be annoying and cringy and whatnot. But it's like, it stops being funny as a joke. And for a short that is supposed to be funny, that is supposed to be comedy focused, it kind of loses the point there when it's nothing but that one joke for the entire 4.5 minutes, to where all you really have is just a lot of cringe. And it kind of speaks to what I feel is the biggest flaw of these shorts. The fact that they're shorts. I know, that sounds dumb almost, but hear me out. The way that these are being portrayed is like, at least for the second and third one now, are a mission, right? Both the second one in Antarctica and this one are both missions. It's even in the title. Mission Antarctica, Mission Weaboo-boo. And the problem with that is there needs more time. There needs to be more time for these missions to work. Because the thing with my issue with Mission Antarctica was that it was so it was because it was a short, there was no time for any of the jokes to really have room to breathe, and almost none of them worked because of that. It was just like kind of this rapid fire series of jokes that it just, you can't just fire off jokes without any breathing room. That's not how comedy works. You have to have build up to the jokes, you have to have setup, you have to have a lot of work set around it. You can't just put in a joke and expect, or a series of jokes, and expect it to just all hit. I found very little of the last episode, or the last short, funny because of that. Because there was no build up, no setup, it was just like the punchline, basically. And this one, again, it's the same thing. It's just a slew of jokes without any breathing room, without any build-up or setup. You literally have to pause the episode at the beginning to read the file to know what the fuck is even going on. Like, you get a little bit of dialogue explaining it, but you need that, again, setup to make this work. And you definitely needed a lot more time for this to, like, balance out the cringe humor. Because it doesn't work when that's literally all your episode is. It's too much. It's too much in too little time. And the problem is, it's because these are missions. Missions should be episodes if you're going to do them. And I understand a lot of the actual show has moved away from the missions as the main focus, and is focusing more on the characters, which I've defended many times in the past and will continue to do, because that's where the show was always headed. That's what it was always going to be. But if you want to do missions, this is not how you do them. Because again, it doesn't give anything time to breathe, and it just comes across as just throwing out random jokes because you don't have anywhere else to put them in the show. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like well written or handled. I'm not saying that they're like entirely like terrible, but it's just they just don't work for what they're trying to do. And you know why the first of these shorts, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, of course. You know why the first of these shorts for me worked so much better? Because it wasn't a comedy short, and it wasn't a mission. The first short worked so well because it was character building. It built both Sally Mae and Millie's characters, allowed them to have time and room to breathe, and gave us some good development that we probably wouldn't get in the main series for one reason or another. Because you want to focus on a lot more of the story stuff and the comedy and various things like that. Having this character development and relationship development with them in a short like this is smart. And in those like 4.5 minutes, that's a good enough amount of time to make it feel natural. The first short was good because it was well written, well paced, and well executed. There was comedy in it too. It wasn't void of comedy, but it wasn't a comedy focused one. It was an emotional character building short. And that's why it worked. But these shorts, it's the reason why these ones, in my opinion, don't work as well. Because they're not given enough time for the humor to land. You can't just start a second joke before the first one even has a chance to, resonate with the viewer. It's like you don't even have time to acknowledge a joke even happened before you're 2-3 more jokes down. It's so rapid fire that it's not funny because you don't have time to even acknowledge anything as being funny. And I really hope that all of these shorts don't end up just being this. If the first short was like the how would you put it? The exception, and most of the shorts end up just being these mission things, I'm gonna honestly be a bit disappointed. Because the character building stuff is what I wanted from these shorts. The stuff that you just didn't have the time to put into the regular episodes, that would have been perfect. Having these silly little joke things, it didn't work as well. Again, all in my opinion. And not to mention, there's also the aspect of, like, I think that this kind of idea would have worked better if it were at a convention. Instead of Blitz just, like, going to her bedroom and having this entire thing happen. The setting would have helped, I feel, balance things out a little bit. And you could have even had maybe others around her kind of weebing out as well. I think that would have helped. It wouldn't have, like, made it great, I feel, but it would have helped at least. It would have given, like, a locational context for this being as rapid fire as it is. That would have been better. But as it is right now, I'm just not super into it. And don't get me wrong, there's certain aspects of this I did like. I want to bring that up too. Like the background stuff, like seeing the plush of Charlie, the Cthulhu body pillow, stuff like that. Like, yeah, I love background references and gags and all of that. That stuff I enjoyed. And like I said, I got the joke. I understood what it was going for. But it was just way too much, way too fast, in too short of a time period. So it's like there's certain aspects of this that it's like, yeah, it was entertaining or interesting or fun to like, gonna be fun to go back and try to see all the references I can. But for the time being, it's like I'm just maybe a bit disappointed at the execution of it. Now, I do want to quickly mention that there is one more short that we know is going to be at the end of next month. Because it seems like all the shorts are at the end of the month, like the last Saturday of the month. So we can assume that the next one will be at the last Saturday for next month, for September. But then in October, November, and December, we're getting episodes, like actual episodes. Um, I don't know if it's gonna like completely finish out the season, but I know we're getting 3 more episodes this year. And I don't think we're probably gonna get any more shorts in that regard. At the same time, we're gonna get like the short for September, then the other months we'll get actual episodes, and maybe a short like in January afterwards. I don't know. But I hope with like next month's shorts and then any future shorts that happen as well, I hope they just go back to being more character focused because there's so much development we could give. We could give some great development to Luna, for example. That would be appreciated. Or other like side characters that we've seen like Verosica. Hell, give some development to Wally. I'm completely serious here. That would be really interesting. Because we see Wally all the time. He's like constantly failing at every venture he tries to do. He clearly has connections with the likes of Verosica, Fizzarali, and Asmodeus. He has connections with the Imps of the Wrath Ring. He's always just kind of around, and it'd be interesting to see if like they could like give reasoning for that. And give reasoning for all his failed business ventures and everything. That could be cool. That could be interesting. It would be much more interesting than something like this. Honestly. Or how about give us shorts that like come back to characters who probably won't make any like notable future appearances. Like Glitz and Glam. They're probably not going to return. Why would they return? And if they do return, it's probably going to be a very minor role. So give an episode dedicated to them. Like maybe explain how they got to where they are now. That would be really cool. Just stuff like that. It doesn't have to be the most exciting thing. It doesn't have to be the most comedy focused thing. I understand like some people might like that it's as comedy focused as it is because of the series having gone in a more serious direction, a more emotional direction. But again, if you're just rapid firing jokes, it's not funny. It doesn't work. At least in my opinion. So, we'll see how the next one ends up going. Hopefully it impresses me more. The first short just hasn't been beat for me. It's like if the first short were a 10, then this one, which was the second best, would be a 4. That's how like separated they are in terms of quality for me. And that's honestly being pretty generous. The second short might be a 2 by that logic. But yeah, the point is, it's like, it's not even slightly close. I want to see more of that kind of stuff. Character developments and building are what this show, what Vivzy Pop and Spindle Horse and all are best at anyways. So it's like, that's hopefully going to be coming up more, whether through the next shorts or through the future episodes. We'll see. In the meantime, tell me your thoughts on Weaboo-boo down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.